nature, a pit of lost souls sold at the cost of consciousness, one that has stripped me off my true nature and left me in insanity, left me bearing open wounds in expensive caskets. Like an amateur, I failed to make amends for my selfish nature. A sick nature, one that has stripped the sick of their sane nature, leaving them in insanity beyond measure, surely a condition lacking pleasure. My creation has been overtaken by a sick nature, he says, watching us as we play God in the Garden of Eden, for we have been deceived, but still we've been forgiven. See, I was never been perfect to begin with, but imperfectly perfected by his presence. A work in progress, you call me. A child born in the embrace of his love with eyes that shine of a million twinkling stars. Contemplating going against staying, he stays, saying I should consider staying, but that's your choice, my love. For I have placed before you life and death, therefore choose life. See, I was taught to speak words that when spoken speak only life over life that were dominated by death, so as to reveal the truth to truths that were once true but ceased to be true because the truth became untrue. Being sick is far from his nature. It's a condition I wish never to fall under. Choice, the greatest form of freedom that Christ has ever given us, and therefore I choose to bear my signature as a claim for my sanity, my true nature. Thank you.
Before he was conceived, separate chromosomes sat in cocoons reading books as worms. The umbilical cord gave food for thought to intelligence, and boy genius escaped from one lady's womb. He was a genius from grade 1, knowing that 1 + 1 - 1 is 1, but his educational journey was all but done. He preferred wasting seconds wetting his fingers to turn pages of a maths book, unlike wasting those seconds thinking of hot ladies in their short skirts with their legs wide open like garage doors when men come home from work. It was like a teacher's pet on a leash, for he knew ladies are leeches wishing to suck on your success story before you reach it. So through primary and high school, position 1 was like a tattoo on his academic records. He went to varsity, but even fine ladies failed to distort the attention he was given to his studies, determined on achieving his goals like 1,000 warrior souls sharpening their spears for the battle on who will take on the universe and piss on Earth's inhabitants. He graduated top of his class with top class marks, so the vision of his future was more vivid than purified water in a beer glass. He saw himself one day with a wife, 1 child, or 1 + 1, 1 boy, 1 girl, but to dreams he was a neophyte. So little did he know his dreams would be cut short like female midgets taken off their high heels. Like matriculants who failed to make it and became suicidal. People believed he was happy, yet what he felt inside resembled black dresses worn to pay last respect at Brenda Fasse's funeral. The one idea he feared most came to his sight. Only one lady was playing tricks in his mind like magicians, making people disappear in a circus full of those who were but not blind. He didn't hesitate. Though procrastination held him at gunpoint, he was wearing a bulletproof vest so he couldn't steal his time. He told himself, heaven will be the new hell if I fail to make this lady mine. Nice one. They met, as sparkles ignited and doctors operated on the eyes of the blind love for it to have its first sight. She was the one. Told himself yet again, one night before the sun rushes for a blink, my virginity would be a thing of my past. Like Proverb, he was so ahead of his time, he saw his future in past tense. But little did he know his one partner was sleeping with 1 times those 1 minutes he would spend on one thought of sleeping with one lady 1 day in 1 lifetime. So to his life in an instant, 1 second turned into 1 minute after 15. It took only 1 round for 1 man to have 1 virus pulverizing 1 million soldier cells in 1 minute. 3 years plus 1 later, death visited 1 family. On day 1 of month 1, 1/6th day of 1 week, 1 cow was slaughtered, 1 tent stood up, and 1 man was buried alone, all suited up.
A photograph is considered as an accurate depiction of reality, right? But it reveals so much less than what it hides. The colors are lost, the dimensions are tossed away from the iris of my eye. It's considered as an accurate depiction of light, but it's a depiction from the reflection from the light. So all in all, it is a lie, a crime, deceiving my observant eye. And I have nothing to preserve you, nothing to conserve you, nothing to remind me of you. hold up. Maybe I've been a little bit hasty. I mean, I have pastels and acrylics lying around everywhere, wishing they could make a sound. And yes, I have found something to preserve you, to conserve you, something to remind me of you. Something that only my memory of you can do. Something that only a masterpiece can do. So I stare into the empty canvas and I see a glimpse of you hidden. And I promise my heart and my fading memory that I will revive you with the tools I've been given.
King Arthur had a sword of Excalibur, a trusted accomplice that he used to write his name down in the books of history, a weapon he held in his hand to protect those that needed him, to stand up for those that have been forced to take a seat down by injustice and watch as their lives dispense into nothing but a myth. We poets also have a weapon, a pen, an extension of our limbs, and it's melted to our fingertips, so we write stories. And I write the story of Amaya, that 13-year-old girl who hides behind a bedroom door every time her father comes to the kitchen door, you see. Amaya's so-called father crash-landed into her virginity 3 years ago, and it's within her screams, and it knows that he finds the pleasure that he needs to continue with the pain that she endures, and it's within the pleas that stops, and the daddy knows that he finds the passion that he needs to fill up the lust that he has for his own daughter's forbidden seed. And after he's done with her body, nailed down to the floor by that pain that never ever gets better. You see, to her, life is like an eternal game of tag with pain, because pain is always running behind like a man on a mission, waiting and winning tag. You're it as pain enfolds her every being. As pain enfolds her every being, and with that little ounce of strength that's left within her lungs, she whispers out, why? You promise that no one would hurt me. You promise that no one would ever harm me. And you promise that no one would ever touch my innocence forcefully. Why? And with that smug look on his face while buckling back his belt, he looks at his own daughter and says, baby girl, say my name. You see, back in the days when he used to kick it with his friends, he was nicknamed Naide, which is a Spanish phrase for no one. No one will hurt you. No one will ever bring harm to you, and no one, I mean no one, will ever touch your innocence forcefully. You see, and the promise of protection that she heard was actually a mission statement of what he'd do in the future. Well, mission accomplished. I write the story of Mrs. Peterson, that lady that puts on so much makeup on only to make up the mistakes that her husband laid on her. You see, he beats on her like a drummer with a drum set, and like any other artist, he enjoys the sound that his instruments make. She's beginning to feel the pleasure behind the assault. She's also beginning to think that it's her fault. You see, every time he beats her, she goes down. She stands back up again, and it happens again and again and again. You ask her, why don't you just stay there? Please just stay down and play dead like a possum. And her response is, because this is the only time that he actually looks me in the eye with intolerable emotion. Because I'm a firm believer in mind over matter, so what looks to you to be a brutal way to treat a lover, I slow down in my mind so it looks like a gentle touch from a lover, only to be brought back by the brutal pain of reality. And after all this, after all it's said and done, this is the only time that he actually tells me that he's doing something for me, because he loves me. So I'd rather stand up than sit down. You see, I'd rather die in his arms, die knowing that he's killing me, because he loves me. I write the story of Damien, that 12-year-old kid is a 2-foot-10, but Tim toys around with him just because he's a little bit weird. You see, Damien has dyslexia. It's not my fault that I see numbers and letters jumping up and down in my mind every time that I try to read. Like I'm in some front row seat of Cirque du Soleil, as his classmates shatter in laughter when it's his turn to read. You see, to the untrained eye, he may look like some young kid who doesn't know the difference between 6 and 9, but the truth is, Damien is an Albert Einstein wrapped in Christmas paper, waiting for someone to unravel and unwrap the story behind him. Well, I'll write your story. I, like Arthur, vow to unsheath my sword and slay the dragon that is entrapped you within your own body, your own silence. I will write your story. Try to catch every tear that you drop, but forgive me when I try to write and everything that I write on is a bit smears, because every time that I hear your tale, I tear up. I'll write your story. Scribble down every encounter that you've struggled. I'll be your voice with your voices. I'll speak out and speak clearly. I'll be the change that you need. They do not understand how it feels like to bath out of a storm. You know, it's nice when you wake up in the morning with a shower waiting for you, droplets of rain falling from the sky instead of your tears. For us, it's another story. When you grow up with a grandmother, when you grow up with a little sister, and you standing in the middle because your grandmother can't walk, she's sick, ill to the closest measurement of death. Close enough to wonder what's going to happen tomorrow if she does not wake up. But you know you have to grow. You have to grow. You have to grow, and you have to grow quick. Because there will come a time. There will come a time where her heartbeat stops and you sink her down into the grave, wondering if she will ever wake up again. In a gravesite, it's cold. We have browns on our walls and we feel the sand like heavy shoulders. Big Show in the making. It's time to grow. You know, there was once a time where she stood up in bed, could not walk, coughing like a mixture. I made her a cup of coffee. It is not what was necessary. They say coffee makes you wake up. I was only trying to make sure that she does not sleep, hoping that the coffee would help. I had to go to school, sacrifices I had to make. There was a little sister waiting for me to give her cash. I had none. Grandma was broke. She was broke. She was broke. Even her feet were broken. It's no wonder her hip hurts, because it feels empty. When the time came for me to actually see that she is drowning into her age, I had to accept and forgive myself for trying to stop the purpose of time during the time before. And when I noticed that she was about to leave me, I did myself a favor. I drank coffee and watched her sleep. We can never distinguish life's fate when life happens on us. We can never turn back the hands of time when we wish to stretch ourselves like wings on an eagle's feathers, wings on an eagle's body flying further than the distance where airplanes craft. We can never distinguish our fate when dreams tend to expand in the morning dew, when we open our windows, finger ourselves looking if God is looking with a peep sight, hoping to find his eye on the other end of our night. Some of us wish we could return the hands of time, like myself. There was a time where I scarred my feet, hoping to cut them, hoping that the ground would stop and my road would end, but time took on because I need to live inside my dreams, because my skin is turning into a fragmented bruise and I am not trying to live on with pains. But we all know injury will always pull you back. No matter how much you try to move on, the pain always seems to shock you like a lightning fragment. When lines of a cross measure come through the skies of your own heart, you feel your heartbeat trying to move on the other end of your skin, whereby it's trying to tell you, stop. It's enough. I have feared you for too long. It is time we take the injury into another level. Carry it on our backs, look at it with a smile and say, it's just for a moment, anyway, it still tickles. But now we wish to see ourselves grow, like forms of trees when roots expand into the ground, hoping to reach the end part of the ocean. It's time our dreams live outside our barriers, and no pain will ever stop us. It was one of those quietly cold winter nights with the trees dancing to the soothing music of God's melodious heartbeat. Such divine art, the smart disregard for can't beat. Looking for inspiration, I grabbed my black coat and took a friendly walk in the hostile but modern wilderness, maybe just a wilderness. My life depending on God, but health at the mercy of the street vandals, because I had mistaken the stars for the angels' candles, dark, swirling clouds as deadly found Twitter handles, cause they always seem to follow the hollow me with an eye for. I had a mistaken gliding litter on the ground floor, bitterly whispering voices, oh, the disgusting sounds. The devil's deceit never ceases to astound the inner sun of my profound imagination. Through much hesitation, I came across an open curtain, and for certain, there was a naked girl facing my way in the midst of meditation, with a tattoo written above her ridiculously large breast, written in ink baby black like minced pest, and it read, I'm a fat bitch. Well, I couldn't disagree because she was fat, so I sat on two bricks like whiter clones and thoroughly thought till I finally decided to steal her shoes and walk a mile in them. But I ended up walking 1,000 because to her world there were no limits. Just continuous exhibits of the genius who sees the existence of time. Yes, that one baboon who healed the strain of duration and devoured the ticks of time. The one who would always sweeten her dreams for nothing more than a dime of her blind joy. Moi, blind Joe Plexen. What a wealthy vixen. She had a heart so cold she could hug the sun and freeze it with her breath. She had an imagination so wide that stars in the universe was blatantly jealous of her. But most importantly, she had a diary, which I've been using as a map. And the first diary entry read, I want to bleed. It's the only way my heart can breathe. I want to bleed. It's the only way my heart can breathe. I want to bleed. It's the only way my heart can breathe. I want to bleed. It's the only way my heart can breathe. I want to bleed. It's the only way my heart can breathe. I want to bleed. It's the only way my heart can breathe. Followed by drops of blood as a signature whenever she slits her wrist like worthless lists. Whenever she randomly decided to barge into stage and express herself through poetry, she was a poetess. And as fat as she was, her inner beauty rang louder than the rhythmic plunges of the bangles danced into the heartbeat on her wrist as she uncovered her heart's mist on stage, reading her deepest poem from nothing but a blank page. This fat bitch.